It's day 23 of designing Animal Crossing Island in 30 days on hard mode. And yesterday, I did some extra work after I got done recording, and I did this. 138,000 bells waiting for us in the bank account. I was going to use Flick for that because he was visiting us yesterday, but that took forever, so I did some more diving and some other things. And the main thing we did yesterday was just lay down some more paths, get some other stuff going, and then the big project we began was the potluck area, which currently looks like this. I'm hoping to do a little bit more work here today, but ultimately, it's just, right now, I'm in a panic. It's just pick a spot and start throwing stuff down. So we unlocked the hedge recipe yesterday. I'm going to try to use some of those. Hedges are nice. They make things feel nice and complete, I think, in certain aspects. So yeah. Also, it looks like people are cleaning up. We got a big pile of old leaves here in the town center. And yeah, I was going to start the day like I always do, kind of doing dailies. Then I thought maybe I should just do my dailies off camera. And instead, I think we'll just kind of, I don't know, I'll chip away at them as I go through stuff. I kind of just want to like jump straight into a building project today. We have a few items in the mail I'm going to pull out here. We got the two, what do you call them, light arch things from the Nook catalog, and then I got my wasp model, which again I don't know where I'm going to use, but I have it. We also just got Mom's tea cozy, which is just a good item overall. I like that. Yes, the plain party lights arch, a name that rolls right off the tongue. Everybody remembers all the time without fail. And this is an item that I'm specifically using as a way to enhance the potluck area, make it feel a little more festive, give it that kind of party atmosphere it's currently missing. And we're gonna see if I can fit two of them side by side. This is as close to the trees as we can get it. I can probably push each one out like that if we need to. I'm gonna see if I can avoid that by putting down another one right next to it. Just like that, and yeah, okay, cool. So if I want to, I can push both of these back a little bit to make room for the mountain standees, but I can probably also fit those comfortably in front of it while leaving room for, you know, just the seating area and stuff, and having to still feel like it's part of the backdrop and not like in anybody's way. Or not. So before I could tuck the mountain standee kind of behind the tree, which I really liked. That is no longer an option. So I guess I will need to push those back a little bit more to see if I can still have that. So these are going to be now right by the river, which is fine. Oh, this one can't go because of the way it's terraformed. So then it does look like our mountain standees are going to be on the dirt a little bit. I got to just decide over time if I'm okay with this. Of course, I suppose there's nothing stopping me from adding a little corner just right here to kind of solve this problem, because I actually don't think I like this. Let me just try something real quick. Okay, so if I can get the party lights arch put right on the very edge there, I can fit the mountain standees like I had them originally. So I do think I will make the rare exception to do the tiniest bit of terraforming just to kind of like get this done the way I want it. Super easy though, literally just involves me adding one tile, not in that direction though, but in this direction. Right there, cutting it off like that. Cut this extra one I accidentally did. It shouldn't affect the bridge that we're going to put down, which I think we'll be doing that today. And it will allow me to place the arch where I want it. Just like that. Okay, cool. And so now when you're back here, you see a much more kind of festive looking, I'm still going to call it a stage, I guess, a stage area. It does look like they're putting on a little play or something. And I think that's kind of fun and adorable, and we're going to just roll with it. Maybe this will be some stage lights. That would be great. Nope, it's 5 clay. All right, so still not a ton of room to work with, but this still does kind of what I want it to do. It just adds I don't know, an interesting looking backdrop to this whole thing. A little more empty space in the middle than I was expecting as well. I think for now, though, I'm going to leave it alone. It's kind of a neat little concept, I think. In my head, it looked a little bit different, but this is still cool, and we can always kind of tweak and move things around as we go. One of the daily tasks I do want to get done. Oh no. Oh, this is the last villager that we need to have a thought bubble above their head. Please don't want to leave. Please don't want to leave. Oh, not a problem. Molly, you don't have a problem. Everything's fine. Oh, she got carried away buying a safety helmet with a lamp. Okay. You know what? I'll buy that from you, Molly. Oh, you'll just give it to me. Even better. I'm so nervous about someone like Molly leaving the island. That is just a nightmare scenario for us. Anyway, the daily I was talking about was trying to find both recipes for the day, because I'm really hoping we get a recipe for a table that would actually work in our little build we're doing, our potluck build. But instead, we're getting a cooking recipe from Faith for pear jelly. We've never seen a pear before. I didn't even know you could make jelly from pears, but you know, let's learn this recipe we'll never be able to make. Hopefully the beach DIY won't let us down. It's going to be another cooking recipe. Oh my gosh. Mixed fruits tart. This is also probably something I can't make because I imagine it requires probably like one of all the fruits. Yep. Yes, it does. Okay, cool. So recipes are not getting us out of this. That is devastating. Another thing happening on the island today is that Sahara is here selling rugs and wallpapers. I might hold off because, I mean, I do need some rugs for my house. I'm hoping I can unlock Sahara on Harv's Island at some point. Maybe I shouldn't hold off. I don't know. But I just want my money to go towards the infrastructure. I just don't think now is the time to be buying up rugs and wallpapers. Tell you what, though, I'll see where our finances are at by the end of the day, and I'll decide from there if it's something I want to do. The bridge we're placing today is going to be the wooden bridge for 168,000 bells, and that bridge will be placed right here, and I can pay it down right away. So here is all of that in one shot. I'm still left with 42,000 bells, and tomorrow the bridge will be complete, and that might be the last infrastructure project we really need to get done in terms of just getting around the island. I like all the beaches to be walkable. While it would be really cool to stick a ramp like right here for the house that we've placed down, which still has not auto-filled, by the way, it's still not necessary. We can put a little ladder and be done, honestly. We don't need a bridge or a ramp there. I would like one. While we're up here, I do think this is an area that is demanding a little bit of our attention, though. I still haven't figured out exactly how I want to use the hybrid flowers that we're starting to collect, or where I want to place them. I haven't figured out how this path is going to connect to all the stuff we have going on this side of everything. And I haven't figured out, well, it's really those two things, how I want to kind of decorate this area too. It does feel like this area is going to need a little bit more just to kind of make it feel whole, you know? So today, let's do just that. I'm going to start placing down some paths, and I'm going to make the back of our island feel a little more intentional. For example, one thing I've been trying to decide is how I want to deal with a path connecting this area over to the flower garden. And I can either run it through here and have like the little circle walkway thing connect to an actual path, or I can bring it all the way around up to here, which would also give us an opportunity to put something as like an entrance to the secret beach, which I'm no longer going to terraform into like a staircase. So I think what we'll do is I'm going to run a path next to this part of the pond. I don't like paths being directly on top of ponds like that. It feels dangerous. But I feel like it feels more dangerous to have it next to a cliff where people could just fall off and hit their head on some rocks. So yeah, this is probably a good compromise. And it's turning out something like this. I just need to connect these two right here. It'll basically be done. Of course, I've put all of my hybrids right in the way of that. But we leave this part open, this obvious shortcut that I'm very likely to use way more often than the actual path, of course. But this is kind of what we're dealing with right now. We got the staircase that comes up to here. You have a villager's house right there. You turn up and over. And if you want to, you can go to the secret beach. Now, it's kind of just a matter of trying to find the center point to this and literally just kind of making a spot like this and tapering the corners. And I think putting somewhere around 1 to 3 ladders is the right call. Either 1 in the middle or 3 right here. So it's just super easy to climb down without having to precisely position yourself in the right spot. So we'll make some ladders, and I think I'll take the country fence and put it along here. So, you know, you're less likely to fall off the cliff, and it's more inviting too when it comes to the secret beach. It's more like, oh, you know, what's this over here? Rather than kind of walking by and potentially missing it. Of course, if there is an interest in putting a path that goes through this little section here, it kind of feels like the way to go about that would be to literally just make the thing I was talking about, right? It would just be a few circles running through this thing. So we have right now we have one gap between the path and then the first circle. So is it just going to be a series of paths that only have one gap between them? This means we would have to put the next one right down here. We'll have to get rid of a flower. And then, as I feared, it's not going to work unless I move this path over 1 tile because it's asymmetrical now. But this is what I was imagining, just a track like this. I think I'm going to commit to it. I'm going to move this path over just 1 tile. It does take a little bit of room away from the side of this villager's house, which is a bit of a shame, but it's not a big deal. They got all that space back here. We can put something back here if we want to. And, you know, it kind of makes everything fit nicely, I think. This is my tip for you for getting rid of paths quickly, by the way. Do every other tile. Unless you're just doing the grass tile, that's faster. But doing every other tile means that it's not going to keep creating like little, you know, cut off corners like that. But yeah, now we can place down the next... Oh, I was wrong. Okay, different plan. We're going to move all of our circles a little bit so that we kind of leave a larger gap in the middle here. Okay, so now this is still symmetrical. One tile between these two, and then there's a larger gap right here, which makes sense because it's where there's a little diagonal anyway, and then one gap between all of these. Perfect. Or, you know, Nintendo could just let us have diagonal paths. That would be nice. That would probably solve a lot of my problems. But this is fine. So now I have multiple ways to kind of traverse through this part of the island. Secret beach right up there, quick shortcut to the flower garden right through here. By the way, with the hybrids, I mean, we only have a handful of days left. At this point, it's important to note, I'm not going for any specific hybrids. I'm not trying to optimize to get purple roses or purple tulips rather, or anything like that. I'm literally just trying to get a few hybrids just for different pops of color in different places. It's not a big deal. In fact, putting a hybrid garden up here makes less and less sense when I consider how few of these I'm getting. There might be a world where I just kind of find a couple places around the island. The yellow and white ones, by the way, I don't even need those. But yeah, a couple places around the island for like a pink tulip or something, and then call it a day and we just put something else up on that cliff up there. Then again, it's probably pretty important to start to grow or start to replicate our hybrids if that is the plan, so that maybe we can get more pink tulips and put those in more places. I don't know. With this little time we have left, this many days left, it just, it's so hard to know what the right call is. So I'm going to do a 2 wide path that kind of comes up to here and stops. And I deliberately put it off center, or whatever you want to call it. I didn't line it up with this circle. This pattern feels a little bit like it's going for a random look. And so I want this path to also kind of feel slightly random. And it does center with this wall, which I'm not terraforming. So 2 ladders right here, and then 3 ladders right here. And we'll have some really easy ways up and down various cliffs that we're just not going to be using enough to justify the cost of a ramp. And then I really need to fix up this over here because this little circle path just kind of is here. So we need to get a circle as close to this bridge as we can, and then move the other circle kind of out of the way. As you can see, it's going to connect there. So we got to move. We'll leave Pac-Man there for now. We just got to move that out of the way. We'll put this circle kind of here. It's not going to align with the bridge perfectly, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with this. This is fine, right? No, nope, it's not. I'm sorry. New plan. Right here, this feels a little more aligned with the angle of the bridge. So let me just taper off all of these. Then we're going to pull this path back a tile, and I should have enough room to fit another circle between these 2 spots, but I don't. I need this pulled back yet another tile. It's really difficult to see with this tree here, but the circles are basically just 1 tile up from this path. So this path just kind of stops here, and then you just walk on these 2 circles to get to here. It's a bit odd. I don't know. I don't know why this bothers me. I know this is lined up with our main path, but I think just having the circles not lined up with each other works better for me. It makes it feel a little more like a diagonal is starting to form here. Yeah, I like that better. This tree might move. It's really starting to frustrate me a little bit, but we have some more trees in our way as well. We have this one, and we'll have to put a path in front of this house. This tree might get in the way, but until we get someone moved in here, I'm not going to worry about it because I'm going to have to work around the sign anyway. But as far as having some like infrastructure, I'm pretty happy with the way all of this is kind of turning out. And again, just having paths here creates these little pockets on the island, and it makes decorating so much easier for me. I can wrap my head around where things can go, and where all the paths are means like I know where everyone's walking. And I know if they're going to be walking there a lot or a little bit, and I can make a lot of decisions that way. Our next path is going to be up here. So we're not going to be making a path that goes from where I'm standing diagonally up there. That's not what we're doing. But we are going to be making a path that runs to Sprinkle's house and connects to the staircase. And of course, that ramp I just made a path to. So this path is specifically for just Sprinkle, basically. And there's really no reason to go down in this direction, which leaves it open for, I don't know, we can make like a, I don't know what we'll make down there. I was going to say a campsite. We have a campsite. We'll do something. But yes, this is kind of what I imagined for Sprinkle's path. Very short and easy to get to. As you can see, another tree is in our way, but I'll fix that later. Ooh, looks like we got a couple fossils up here. And the other weed I was looking for. Nice. The other house, the last house we're going to place down is going up here in this area. It's going to be a pretty big plot. Something I would normally try and reserve for a very awesome top tier villager. That's not really going to be an option. So ends up here, I guess, is pretty lucky. They get potentially a lot of space all to themselves. I'd say this is the spot on the island that I'm most nervous about decorating, just because it's so freaking huge, there's a chance that I just lean into putting a lot more trees up here and letting it be like a really dense forest. But I don't know exactly. A big dense forest is not going to earn me the points I need for 5 stars. So I have to kind of balance that with maybe some furniture. I see the shimmering spot up here, so does that mean this is the money rock? There's not that many rocks to hit today because I got rid of most of them yesterday. And this was not the money rock. I also think this is another rock that gets removed today, unfortunately. They're trying to respawn currently. I cannot have it right here. This is where I'm going to be decorating around Abel's. This is kind of prime real estate, so I have to get rid of this one too. And before I get fences, I need to clear out my inventory. And before I clear my inventory, I'm going to put these trees back somewhere, because if I don't, I will definitely just turn around and sell them at some point. Or, you know, well, I guess that's all I could do. I could give them out as gifts as well. We've learned that. So I'm just kind of putting them around the flower garden a little bit, and then we can start to place down some fences, which will, I think, start to set the vibes up here that I'm looking for. Ooh, I just got a piece of furniture. Cute wall-mounted clock out of a balloon. In terms of moving around trees, though, and maybe even some more work with paths and things, a lot of the infrastructure's done. Still a little bit more to do, but I'm pretty happy with where things are, and it is giving me some inspiration for different decorating projects. So I grabbed the country fence, and now I'm going to go ahead and just put it along the cliffside here. I'll probably need to make more of these. Any excuse to craft, though, and get my inventory clear of more supplies, probably a good thing. I can't put things away in my house anymore, and they're going to eventually, the items on the ground are going to keep us from getting the 4 stars we need. 5 stars too, but I did say the other day that I would like by the end of today to have a larger push towards 4 stars, figuring that if I place enough things down, maybe we start to get into 4-star territory. I am going to check. I don't know if we do it today, but I'm going to check and see if we can get close. This is another spot where I want country fence as well, and we do have a ladder hidden here. So I'm just going to put 2 fences there, and it looks like I'm going to need maybe 2 or 3 fences here. Doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical or anything, but that's going to leave that gap for us to climb up via the ladder. And then over here, I have the fences placed down like I wanted, but I think I want to actually have them turn now and just at least start going in this direction. And we'll put something maybe like right here, like a tree or something, to just kind of like indicate that, okay, that's all the fence we need. It stops there, because I want to create kind of like a natural entrance to the back of this house for whatever reason. I don't know if I'm putting anything back there or not, but there, yeah, that looks good. And then we are going to head over to Harv's Island to do a little bit of customizing. And by little, I mean a very little. I want to customize the 2 cypress plants and that loom we have as well. Maybe the fishing items, I grabbed those, but we have a few trips we need to make here. It looks like the only thing he'll do with this is literally just change the pattern, and I think this is one I can actually change myself too. So, all right, I thought I could change the type of wood in the loom, but I guess not. Cypress plant wise, I'm thinking this probably looks good. I think yellow. I'm gonna go yellow. And I guess that's it, because I noticed I could also customize all of the CJ fishing items myself as well. But the reason I did the cypress plants was to put them around this staircase. It just felt like it'd be nice to have a couple of tallish items kind of flanking the edges of the staircase here. We do have a bunch of stuff we need to do in this area, but yeah, this kind of felt like, yeah, that'll look pretty nice. And it does. It does. I like the vibes of that a lot. Next, I would like to play with, not those, some hedges. Did get some hedges finally. And I've been looking forward to kind of messing with these around the island a little bit. So one idea I have is placing them kind of like this. So we do this, and then we just do one hedge like that, just to start lining the paths with them, right? So we do that, and then we kind of match it over here. And we come out no further than this, where right here, we're going to put like a little display of some clothing. Maybe the loom makes it over here somewhere too. I do want to use it, but it might actually go behind Abel's, maybe right here. Just depends on how much room we have. Let's go ahead and keep adding hedges though. I could literally just put them like 2 next to the houses, just like that, and call it. And then we can have room behind this house and room behind Abel's to do whatever we want to do. And I have a couple more ideas in this vein. Let me pick these up again. I want to show you something here. So I'm going to put down some, oops, not those tiles. I'm going to put down some of the dark, what I'll call soil tiles. And it's going to go like that. And then same thing over here, just like this. And I can curve these if I want to, but the idea is that I was gonna plant a couple of flowers in front of this little entrance. So the cypress plants would go back and they would sit on the dirt like that. So just like that, and then we would pick a couple of flowers to just go in front of them. And I think that will make it look even nicer. It starts to have like this kind of like garden vibe here, which I wasn't expecting. Not like, obviously from doing this, I'm expecting a garden, but I wasn't expecting this area to turn into a garden district. I was expecting it to be more of a shopping district. But as you saw, I had some options with flowers. I happen to have 2 pink tulips, and I think pink tulips would look nice over there. I think what we do is we actually try and replicate the pink tulips by just, continue to water these flowers, and maybe we can do all pink tulips over there. I don't know exactly. For now, I could use other flowers. I think I'm just going to leave the tiles blank for the moment. And in a bit, I will come up here and we'll start to work on our actual hybrid replicating farm. Which sounds very scientific. But anyway, with this extra space that we have, I figure something else we could do is put down this little dirt pad here and hide the loom kind of behind Abel's. So we will just take the loom and pop it right there and maybe push it back one. It's a little more hidden than I was anticipating. Well, it's not too hidden. If you're here, you can kind of catch a glimpse of it. And this is implying that they, I guess, sometimes make their own clothing and they need extra big equipment to make that happen. I think from this angle, having that sliver of path right there adds a little bit of intrigue. And then when you're up here, you can more clearly see what's going on, and I think that's kind of cool. And then the fishing items I have could go in so many places. I have the fishing rod stand, the fishing drying rack, and the anchor statue. All of these fantastic items. So I was thinking it could go right here next to this river, and we could make another little path that kind of brings you to this quiet little fishing spot next to Octavian's house. Octavian is a squid, so that's also, I guess, funny, interesting. I don't know. I don't know why a squid would be fishing. But then this spot I've also been thinking would be a great place for a little fishing setup. And you can already see the fishing rod stand being right here would work really well. And maybe we put a little bench or something. I don't know. I could actually just use a regular fishing rod as that decoration and put a little stump and maybe a sign. We can draw up a sign for fishing. I have no idea. I can work with more items, even though CJ only gave me a couple things. I can make my own stuff too. Of course, Captain's Dock is another place I've been threatening to decorate, and the fishing stuff would go good over there. But, I don't know. It's such a big open area, and I only have a few items. So committing that entire thing to a fishing display feels like too few items and too big of a location. Let's see all the customizations here. That's it. Okay, if I kept the fishing stand white for a second, what about the drying rack? This one's kind of nice. Okay, so the drying rack kind of has the natural wood look, a darker wood look, and then this reddish kind of wood. Let's keep that texture. Let's change the fishing rod stand to have the natural look so they kind of match better. And then the anchor statue doesn't even need to go with this setup what we're doing, but we have all these options. The anchor statue is one of my favorites. I really like this just for its size. It's just a cool little statue. I love that as a gold variant too. I'm not going to waste the DIYs on it right now, but we'll probably go retro and we might put it somewhere else. I mean, come to think of it, next to Octavian's red house, maybe we get a different color scheme for it. It wouldn't look bad next to his place. I mean, we could even put it right behind the hedges here. If I just pop it right there, what does that look like? It's a bit hard to center. It's interesting. It's in his front yard. I don't hate it, but yeah, I'm kind of thinking we could try fish drying rack here, and then the fishing rod stand right up against his house, and you don't even have to squeeze through. You just kind of walk right in. Alternatively, we could flip these. I do feel like the fishing rod stand looks better when it's facing out, facing the camera like that, and the fishing drying rack probably looks okay to the side like this next to his house. That feels a bit better to me. And this is where we get back into, symmetry and stuff, but I think we could put an extra path behind his house just right here. It might look a bit weird and silly to have all this path back here, so I don't know if I like this, but it would do something like this. Is that only one tile right there? Oh, okay, we can't even connect it right. Ooh, gold nugget fell from the sky. Okay, yeah, maybe I don't like this path here after all. If we were to keep it and try not connecting it, but we just taper off all these little corners here, maybe this looks okay. I was definitely going to taper these corners like this. So now there's a couple little paths. You can kind of go back here, and then here's the fishing spot. I don't think this looks too bad, actually. So now fishing rod stand there, and then the fish drying rack here. And yeah, I think this is kind of cool. If we were to come out here and look at it across the bridge, I kind of like it. It looks like there's a little bit of activity over there, and it's kind of cool. I think it could use maybe a shrub or two Maybe a shrub right here. Probably not here because he wouldn't be able to walk. But yeah, maybe just a shrub literally right here would help. There's an orange one across the river, so we'll kind of put down, I guess, a yellow one right here. Yeah. That's pretty good. We even got some points for that. Ooh, it's the last stamp on Shrubbery Hubbery, which was worth 1,000. There are no red statues in all of these different options. I think I will go retro with this. So yeah, kind of having the rusted anchor statue popping up behind the shrub there. It's kind of intriguing, kind of interesting. Could use something else over here, I guess. And yeah, like I said, like I keep saying, I want this to be kind of like a clothing display. I thought I picked up some cherries. So I'll grab these, we'll destroy the rock, and I think we'll have to go ahead and just decide what clothing we want there. The goal for me personally just being getting some of this stuff out of my inventory. Now, I had considered that because we're coming up on Halloween that maybe they're having a sale on costumey items. I don't have too many costumey items. I mean, you could say maybe the Western shirt and the concierge uniform, firefighter uniform, maybe these are kind of close to Halloween items. So yeah, I don't know. That would definitely remove certain things. I guess, okay, let's try it. Let me get these out of here. And then perhaps I could also take the safety helmet with lamp. I don't want to get rid of any of my like fancy hats. There's the Kiwi hat, which I'll probably never wear. Ooh, and we have the wrestler uniform. I just noticed that. Mermaid princess dress as well. I could definitely see that being like on shelves for Halloween. And I'm just going to take the fish pouchette as well. Oh, my pockets are full. So no, I'll come back for that. Actually, I just put something away. So yeah, fish pouchette. The tango dress is kind of cool. So I definitely have some items that I guess would fit the vibe of like Halloween sale in a pretty good way. We'll destroy this rock and yes, we'll get this going. So again, I think I'm going to try to put down some dirt path here. And this is just to, I don't know why. Honestly, don't ask questions. Why do I keep using dirt paths everywhere? I don't know. Okay. I don't know what to tell you. But I'm putting down a stall and it just feels like putting something underneath the stall is the right thing to do. So we'll just do, oops, for now, just this little pad right here. I need to customize it, but the stall will basically go here and I might push it back. And then I'm going to put some clothing items on the stall. And then I'm going to put some of our like costumes and stuff scattered about over here, maybe even over here. Let's see what customizations we have for this that might work outside of Abel's. I'll stick to natural wood. And then let's see what kind of patterns we have now, because we have a few different ones from Sable. So, I still really like the Panera pattern I was talking about for Zucker. I'm trying to think of what might match the building well enough, and I'm kind of feeling like we need some red on it, right? So they could use that checkered pattern there. I don't want this striped one. Maybe this one. This one has some red in it. I don't know. Every time I try and customize a stall, I always regret it, but we'll try it. Yeah. I don't know. Should I just do like a little green awning similar to the one over their door? Honestly, this one feels kind of perfect. Let's just use it. Yeah, I think this one's a little bit better. Even the wood of this kind of matches the wood trim on the building a little bit, so that's pretty cool. All right, now, I think what we can do is put the Kiwi hat here and the work safety helmet here and the safety helmet with lamp like right here. There we go. So we got a stand for some hats. And then we just start to place outfits around, I think, while trying not to accidentally put them on, which is actually really hard. Okay, so place this one down, and we'll kind of just push it back a little bit. We can place the firefighter uniform maybe in front of it. Where did that one go? Right here. So there's a few outfits, and then maybe we can put maybe the mermaid princess dress. Wow, there's already a very similar dress in the window right now. Just in terms of like really flashy dresses. We could put this maybe right here though. The dress I think in the window is going to change pretty frequently. So that's kind of cool though. And then yeah, maybe the wrestler uniform facing the building intentionally and the Western shirt as well, kind of like right here. That feels, I don't know, honestly, when I start putting stuff behind the hedges, it feels a bit more chaotic. So yeah, Western uniform there maybe, and then the wrestler uniform we'll place like right here. And I know they're a bit scattered and weird. I kind of like this. It kind of feels like they're overstocked on random Halloween items that fell off the truck and they got it at a discount or something. They're like, you know what? I don't care if they get rained on. Just put them outside. We don't have a room in our store for this crap. This means I'll have to find something else to put behind the hedges. But you know what? Even if it's nothing, that's still fine. And just as I kind of like walk through this area now, the hedges alone really give this place a whole different feel. But I like the way it's kind of turning out. It's a bit weird, but hey, we're going to have to start getting weird with our builds because we're out of stuff. We're not out of stuff. We just don't have a lot to choose from. And so we need to be creative. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm going to have to make ladders eventually, so we can get down here. And then over here, of course, we'll need a couple ladders to go up there. And I want to go up there right now and place down at least our pink tulips, because we have 2 of them, and try to get them watered, so hopefully maybe they make more pink tulips for us. So my plan is to actually make a little flower bed up here or 2. In lieu of that, for the moment, I'm just going to do this, and at least I've kind of done my job. I've gotten 2 pink tulips next to each other watered. But yeah, over here, it's a bit empty. We'll figure that out, but it's starting to come together nonetheless. We got our flower garden. We have some fences in front of it now, which is cool. I might do even more with fences here, there, and everywhere. Like, you could put some up here. Probably not diagonal, of course, but yeah, there's definitely room for, I mean, like right now, we could just stick some down. Just like this, which helps, I think, the crafting area too. I think just having extra height above that crafting area is gonna look really good. We can shove a fence right there. Maybe we pop one right over here just to be consistent. I don't know if I like these, but I'll just keep them for now. And after all that placing down of things, where does that leave us? Do we have 4 stars yet? Probably not, but we're gonna check. I'm gonna pick up all the stuff off the ground first, especially the trash items I had to pick up, just because I didn't want them going, well, you were at 3 stars, now you're at 1 because there's trash and people are tripping over it. All right, Isabel says 3 stars still. Okay. Oh my gosh. I don't know, everybody. I'm starting to freak out a little bit. The critique today is to improve the island's natural landscape. So that's a little different. Last time I think it said something that was indicative of like more furniture on the island. I know all of it helps, but natural is good. If they just want more trees and flowers, that's a pretty easy win. So tomorrow, let's work on that. Let's add some more nature to the island and see if it gets us closer to 4 stars. I have some more stuff to do, so I will see you all later. Tomorrow's video is right there if it's ready. If not, you can subscribe to see it, and well, goodbye.